there, Randi Green here. Have you thought about how the sun affects your body? Well, we kind of all know how we feel in summertime, right? It's nice, it's warm, it makes us feel good. But think about it in a more scientific way. I'm not here talking general sciences. I'm talking a little bit more higher order sciences where we are dealing with subtle energies. And that means energies without the frequency spectrum. Now, when the sun goes into autumn as it does now, it's today, September 14th, the sun shifts from a 90-degree angle during summertime into a 30-degree angle during autumn, and then later on very close to the limit of 15 and 20-degree angle in wintertime. That means that the refraction of light shifts. That's why the leaves go from green and into yellow and into brown, because the angle of the sun and the way that the sun hits the plant DNA changes it so it no longer absorbs the frequency spectrum that leads to the green color in the leaves. That is technically within the blue light spectrum. Interesting feature. I'm not sure science will back up on this one, so this is per my intuition or per my double awareness on what's going on in the plants. So if you play with the idea that the sun affects the plants into a specific type of energetic composition, and by that a specific color, so when we play with the ideas that the light affects the plant DNA from a specific color into another color and literally wither and die, I think there is an opportunity for us that are working with energy and in our self-healing processes to play with the idea of, okay, we're no longer absorbing the same amount of light from the sun within a specific frequency spectrum. Can we mimic that in our self-healing processes so that we won't get tired to the same degree during wintertime? Can we amplify the light structure in our human DNA during wintertime, not relying on the energies of the sun, which technically, as the old chakra teachings tells us, comes through the spleen and the heart field that is technically positioned between the shoulder blades, as well as the golden center in the middle of the head that are connected to the eyes. So if we say, well, it's not about the connection between the eyes and the center point of the brain, that technically is a feature that arises once you have lifted your heart energies into your brain, and by that activate the pituitary gland and the pineal glands to their higher order settings, creating a golden substance that becomes the center in the head. So if we then learn that the center in the head is no longer depending on the sun, the energies of the sun, those of you who follow my teachings, you will now say, Randi, why are you suddenly going back to the chakra teaching system? Well, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm old school, so I began there. And since I created these features a long time ago, notice here saying I created these features as part of my awakening process, I also am playing around with this, saying, okay, this is a feature that I have, and it doesn't have to tie into the chakra teachings. It could also just be a natural feature of our higher order original solar system, civilization, energy system. That's my claim. So let us not say it's part of the chakra teachings per se. These were just the Brahims that picked up on that one from some of the old teachings that were part of the reseeding of the fourth cycle civilizations. So we thereby learn that we have an intimate connection to the sun, but we are not depending on the sun, that we can also exist and generate what we could call light filaments within ourselves that are not depending on the infusions of the sun, which the old ones called prana in the Hindu teachings. So we're not depending on the energies of the sun. We can generate them ourselves. And that's where the golden orb in the head comes in. The importance of the golden center in the middle of the head that produces the sequences of light, not from the sun. But this understanding becomes important when we talk about the shift in the sun, going from what we could call a middle domain oriented type of sun, density 2 sun, into an outer domain, density 1 sun. That's technically a cold sun. And a cold sun does not emit the same type of light as our warm sun has done so far within the Holocene. That means that human DNA will change. And those of us who are on top of the energetic transition processes, we will understand how important it is to learn to generate light filaments from our own holographic energetic energy system, which it should be from the very get-go. So the holographic energetic architecture behind a physical form will provide us with the light filament that is needed to keep up the vibrational field functional, which is technically what the prana has been doing for a very long time for the majority of humans on our planet. Hence the connection between the heart field and the spleen and the golden orb in the middle of our head. When we then understand that we can actively participate in generating light ourselves, we also begin to understand how to reconnect to the original reality and the different levels of reality. I talk about that in the transition sciences. So we have got tools to meet up with the new requirements and the new reality settings that is coming. So you will naturally ask, how do I get that feature? How do I get that started? How do I learn to produce the light within myself? And it all goes with our heart field. And as those of you who have followed my teaching for a long time, you also are acquainted with the whole basic 4D energy work that produces the type of energy that is needed to activate the heart field. What produces that type of energy? Technically, our clearing work. It is interesting to understand that once we begin to remove the astral energies and the distortion energies that typically are connected to the senses of what we could say a higher sense of bliss, also called samadhi, and the process of cleaning that gives a feeling of harmony and balance, then we begin to understand the more we clear and the more we cleanse of our energy system that are connected to our emotional field, and the more we vibrate that up to a type of golden light, the more higher vibrational energies we will create in our emotional field that will lead to a greater balance, that will lead to greater understanding of reality, and at the same time, both pros and cons leading to a larger sensitivity of reality. With that, we'll learn to feel our body in a completely different way. And that is also part of the upgrading and the transition of our body into the new reality settings. Thank you.